Spring is finally starting here. The daffodils are blooming. We're beginning to landscape around the greenhouse, and I got a lot more pansies to plant with you all so we can add much needed spring color to the garden. Spring is my favorite time of year as everything starts waking up again, and I'm so glad I get to share it with you all this season, especially as we start building this new garden around the greenhouse. Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny farm where I share simple old-fashioned ways to grow a beautiful, productive garden and homestead. Spring is my absolute favorite time of year, and I love sharing this time of year with all of you, just with all of the flowers that are coming back to life and start blooming, especially the daffodils and the tulips. We have so many daffodils that are in bloom right now, so I just wanted to take you through the gardens and share all of them that are blooming. There's a couple of late daffodils that aren't open yet, but pansies are also my favorite way to just add splashes of color around the garden because they can tolerate the colder temperatures this time of year and they will keep right on blooming. So we are going to be adding pansies just around the back cut flower garden. And then we are going to be looking at the landscape that we have been working on around the greenhouse. Is such an exciting time of year. Seeing all of this come together is a dream that started back in October, and here in April, 6 months later, it's really feeling like it's coming to life. But we have a wagon full of very pretty pansies. We're just going to get them planted and to get them done in the planters in front of the greenhouse, in front of the chicken coop, and then we'll see if we can get some done in the little garden shed as well. Back in November, I planted tulip bulbs into these planters, and then I just have them sitting in our unheated garage over winter. This planter pulled through very well, and it's looking so pretty. Together, we have been planting purple, pink, and white spring flowers all throughout the gardens, just to make everything look cohesive. I think it feels more restful when the flowers are kind of all the same color and everything kind of comes together as one. So that's why we're planting the purple pansies. We have pink tulips, and we also have some white daffodils planted in here that will be blooming hopefully in another week or two. And then we'll have all of the same color in this planter in front of the greenhouse. And then we'll just continue planting these purple pansies throughout the different spots in the garden. But let's get all of these pansies planted, then we are just going to walk together through the garden, look at all the daffodils that are in bloom, and then I wanted to share what the landscape is looking like around the greenhouse. Well, friends, it's been raining off and on this whole time. I feel like my hair is all over the place. But we got everything planted that I wanted to get planted with you guys today. All of the planters in the back garden are done, and we still have some pansies left over that we can maybe plant together next week. This is the variety that I've been planting. It's called Violet Pansy. It's such a dark purple, almost looks luxurious as a pansy. And in these planters, actually in all the planters, I didn't add any, I kind of topped it off with fresh potting soil, but I didn't change it out because when I go to plant the summer annuals closer to end of May, then I will change out all of the potting soil because those will need more nutrients than these pansies will need right now in the cooler weather of spring. But let's go take a peek at all of the daffodils that are blooming around the gardens. We're going to start out here in the front cut flower garden. And this, I call this our entrance garden because it's out right out here by the road. It greets anyone that stops by. So I like to have something blooming in here at all times. And this is what's currently in bloom. We have this little bed that we created just last fall with a snow crabapple tree. And then it's underplanted with, I can't remember for sure what variety of tulips these are. I'll have to pop the name up on the screen, but then we planted it with the British Gamble daffodil. And this has such a large cup. Highly recommend growing this in your garden. And it has that soft kind of peach pink color to it. As we continue on into the cut flower garden, we have a miniature daffodil. There is 4 bunches growing in here. And this one is called Prosecco. This is why it's called miniature daffodil. It has these small flowers and it is so pretty. I love that kind of peach colored center again. So sweet to tuck into flower arrangements. Back here we have Can Can Girl, and we had such a hard frost. Like it went down to 23 degrees Fahrenheit, so it kind of ruined some of the blooms on the daffodils. But you can see it has that frilly center and oh, such a sweet flower. In the entrance of the garden, I did have a bunch on each side. I'm not sure what happened to this bunch. I don't know if it got too wet over winter or if this variety just doesn't perennialize quite as well, but this is called Petite Four. And oh my goodness, those blooms, that double cup is so pretty with that yellow surrounding it, and then it has a peach center. We are in the backyard, and this is our back patio. We have had so much rain lately that we need to have extra sump pumps going with extra hoses coming out of the basement so the basement doesn't flood. That's why you're going to be seeing those extra hoses. But back here, the rhododendron is blooming. Lenten roses, hellebores, oh, they're looking so good right now. But over here we have a daffodil that's called White Lion, and it's kind of drooping its head right now because of the cold we've had. But it's such a beautiful flower. You can see it's a double blooming daffodil. Isn't that so beautiful? And it is interplanted with some fritillary. I love those little purple little heads. Aren't they so sweet? As we look this way, we have some more of the Prosecco daffodil that we had in the front cut flower garden. And as we continue on into the patio, we have the Kedron daffodil blooming, and I'll show you that one in bloom out in the back cut flower garden because it's looking a lot prettier than this bunch is. But over here, we are putting in a new patio that will connect to our patio that we currently have. And then we are going to have like a fire pit in here. So this morning, Naveed laid down the pea gravel, and then we will just have to lay down landscape fabric, spread out the pea gravel, and add in some edges. So I'll be sharing more of that over the next few weeks as we're working on it. We have more of the white lion under this tree. And then if we look this way, this is just a traditional daffodil. I love popping traditional daffodils just here and there around the garden because they're so cheerful. This is the only time of year that I really enjoy the color yellow. Now we're back to where we started in the back cut flower garden. So the past few years, I've just been working on adding in and collecting some specialty daffodils. This one it was called Champagne Dreams, but it looks very similar to My Story daffodil and the Replete daffodil. I'll show both of those to you as we continue on through the garden. But this hydrangea is underplanted with Muscari. Isn't that looking so sweet with the white daffodils? I was recently reading an article that said daffodils need to be deadheaded so they can put their energy into flowering the next spring instead of growing their seeds. So that might also be what's happened to my petite four daffodils in the front garden because I didn't deadhead them last spring. But this is the Cottage daffodil. Aren't those just so sweet and cheerful? They're just kind of scattered throughout the garden. I think I had planted, there was either 50 or 100 bulbs of this variety that I just planted throughout the garden, and they're so cheerful this time of year. It has started raining again, so I hope the camera is going to be okay. And the boys were playing over here in the garden. That's why you'll see little dump trucks. But this is the My Story daffodil, and you'll see what I mean. Like, they're very similar to the Champagne Dreams daffodil. So I don't know if they're actually the same variety and this company just gave them a different name. But oh, they're so pretty. We're going to walk around the garden this direction, look at the daffodils, and then we'll come back down and check out this new border that we just planted up together just last fall. This is Topsy Turvy Blend, and I got this one from Color Blends a couple years ago. It is such a sweet daffodil. It has some that kind of have this peach colored bloom, and some of them are more yellow. You see some of them are fading already, but this blooms usually from late March until mid-April. We are also in the process of adding in a picket fence around the garden. So if you've been watching our videos for a while, you might remember that we had an arbor in here with a picket fence attached to each side. So we did remove that to paint it earlier this week. And I discovered I kind of like it without the arbor because we can see the greenhouse better. So we might just continue with the picket fence completely around the garden and then just have a gate in here and then add the pergola or the arbor that we had in here, add it back in there, the entrance to the greenhouse, and plant a clematis under. So we'll have to see. But we have some more topsy-turvy. And then over here, this is the replete daffodil. And again, it is very similar to the My Story daffodil and the Champagne Dreams. So again, I don't know if these companies just have different names for the same variety of daffodil, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me because it's such a beautiful daffodil. In the next week or two, we're going to be working on adding in the picket fence to completely surround or kind of back up all of the borders, and it will make everything look a little bit more put together back here in the cut flower garden. So this is what I call my daffodil bed. It has just a whole bunch of different daffodils blooming in it right now. This is it pink trumpet daffodil? Such a pretty variety. It kind of matures to a softer pink. We have smaller yellow daffodils in here. And then as the season keeps going, it kind of gets its double blooms in here. It is so pretty from late March right into May. As we walk on down this border, we just have a continuance of the replete daffodil and the topsy-turvy blend daffodils. There is some tulips that have started blooming, so that's very exciting. But as we walk on back here, this is Jude's little fairy garden that he put together last week. But this is what the greenhouse garden is looking like. I wish maybe I have a video of what it looked like last year this time, because I had big ideas for this garden, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. We had thought about maybe just having a raised bed garden back here. And last fall we hatched the idea of just building our own greenhouse. Instead of like buying a kit, we just built everything from scratch, and Harley did such an amazing job coming up with this plan. We have our purple pansies planted with the tulips, looking so sweet. Ranunculus, tulips, and then more ranunculus. We are going to be adding more beds back in here. If we back up a little bit, this is where I was thinking we could have that arbor with the clematis growing up on it, because right in here, this is all going to be flower bed, and then this will be our entrance into the garden. I'm so excited to just get in here and start planting. Some of the tulips have started opening, so we can possibly start harvesting tulips real soon. But back here in the chicken coop garden, this is where I do plan on having, you'll just have to excuse us, we still have our rakes and stuff that we use to straighten out the pea gravel, but I would love to have a sitting area back in here with maybe another pergola, something climbing on it. Back in here in the herb garden, we do have a daffodil that's blooming that's called Sailor Man, and it is very bright yellow. But like I said, in the springtime, I just love the color yellow. It's the only time of year that I do like yellow in the garden. But this is such a sweet daffodil. If we back it up a little bit, we have a whole swoop of muscari blooming in here. Now this is our edibles herb garden. So I do try to keep everything in here edible. Obviously the daffodils aren't very edible, but muscari flowers are edible. So that's why those are planted in here. And the pansies that we just planted earlier. Hi. Do you want to stop by and say hi to all of us? Huh? Hi, chickens. So you look back in this direction at the greenhouse garden. It is coming together. And I just can't wait to continue developing this garden with all of you this summer. So in here is where we grow all of our vegetables and cut flowers in the warmer months. So that will be starting real soon. But in this border, there is quite a few daffodils planted. And another thing that I wanted to share with all of you, so when we had put in this pathway, we put limestone in it, and then we added pea gravel in here. So my plan is this spring and summer to remove this limestone and turn it into pea gravel so everything is cohesive. This is a new daffodil to the garden. It's called Slim Whitman. It has a soft yellow center and then white outer petals. Such a sweet daffodil. We do have the Gay Tabor daffodils. I planted them in here because we have like 50 of them planted in here that are getting ready to bloom. So I wanted to carry it over into this border. So those will be blooming within the next week or two. Underplanted it with muscari. You can kind of see those purple buds coming up. And as we continue on down here, oh, I need to show you this daffodil. This one is called Art Design. Isn't that such a beauty? We have more of the Cottage daffodils right in here. And then over in this border, there is some sweet fritillary blooming. And this one I was kind of disappointed with. It's called Bridal Crown Daffodils. And I would love to hear if you guys have planted this daffodil, like, does it stay short for you? Because I thought I was going to be able to use it in cut flower arrangements, but it's only like maybe 8 inches tall, but the blooms are very sweet. So if it does stay shorter, it makes a nice border bloom. But if we look in here in this border, you can see all of those tulips and daffodils are budding up. So probably in another 2 weeks, we'll just have to walk through the garden and again look at everything spring blooming that has started to flower. Here's some more of the bridal crown daffodil, but down here there's some tulips that have started blooming. And I can't remember that I planted red tulips, but I guess we have red tulips in here, but they're looking pretty. And the apricot hyacinths are looking so sweet. Over here we have garlic and ranunculus planted in here. We are back in the greenhouse. I don't know if you can hear it, but the rain has picked up again. But just the sight of daffodils after a long winter, it never gets old. So every year I'm just going to continue adding new varieties into the gardens. But the goal for the gardens this year is just to continue making everything beautiful and have it be a space where you can just sit in and breathe and enjoy nature. But I would love to hear what you guys have blooming in your own gardens right now. I enjoy hearing what everyone has blooming and what you're planting this year. If you have anything new that you're adding into your gardens. But my hope, friends, is that you always leave our gardens feeling rejuvenated and inspired and ready to grow something fun in your own space. Have an amazing week, and I will see you right back here real soon. Bye.